Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Going to be doing a few more now as the chess season has officially begun. I know it's a week into October already, and we kind of started back in September, but there's only a few games that had happened. It feels like we're fully back into the swing of things for the regular chess season. There's still a lot of chess being played all year round. Obviously, the summer is huge for big tournaments, but the actual local league chess season kind of runs from September through till kind of like April, May time, and then we take a break usually. There are some summer leagues, but I think even in our local North Staffordshire area, the summer league didn't actually happen this year because there wasn't enough interest, which was really quite a shame. But it's not necessarily because there wasn't people playing chess. A lot of the local clubs chose to do their own internal tournaments, which was perfectly fine. So maybe it just needs a bit of a push. But we do play against each other now, and I'm going to take you through what's going on in the North Staffordshire Chess League, some of my thoughts on some potentially a contentious issue, but it's up for discussion. That's why I want to bring it to the fore. And then also maybe even going to have a look at one of the end positions from one of the matches that we've already played. So first of all, how can you find it? Well, if you just search for North Staffs Chess in Google, this is what comes up for me. So I just put North Staffs Chess. You can see we've got the North Staffordshire and District Chess Association official website, which is this blue one. And some information gets put on here when we forward it on. And you can find different clubs available. But I like to go onto the LMS page, which might be a link there, but it says English Chess Federation. It's got just this LMS thing here. And LMS stands for League Management System, which the majority of the team captains and of the clubs all have a login to, and they basically input the results onto here. I've never done that before. I don't want to learn, so I don't get laboured with the actual job. So North Staffordshire Chess League is otherwise known as the Stoke League. It started again, and we've got you can see here on the left hand side for the 25-26 league season, we've got 5 divisions. So let's just have a quick look though on a bit of a recap on the past season. So we're looking for the 24-25, let's say Division 1 for example, so we can see who won it last time. So you can see here that Crew B actually emerged victorious, scoring the most match points. They only drew 1 match and won the other 7, actually finishing ahead of Crew A quite interestingly. Did fantastically well. Obviously, All Sager was my club. We finished 3rd. Lost 2 matches, won 2, drew 2, and lost 4. So actually, we had a very bad kind of run of it. Still managed to finish 3rd out of 6. Holmes Chapel A were below us, Crew C below that, and then All Sager F. They shouldn't be in there. That must be a different club, perhaps. I can't remember who that was. All Sager F definitely wasn't there. So this is just maybe a dummy team perhaps because they played no games. So actually it was out of 5. So it's 3rd out of 5, which obviously not very good for us this season. I didn't play every single match, but congratulations to the Crew B team. So let's just have a look at some of their statistics. So you got Lucas only played 1 game, he won that. Martin Fisher 6 out of 7, fantastic score. Carmel 2.5 out of 3. Junter or G 5 out of 7, really strong score. David Lampton 5.5 out of 8, great score as well. And then Neville and Lee also, and Lee 1.5 out of 4, but he would have been playing on board 1 all the time too. Neville 1 out of 2. So really strong performance from all of their players. Nobody below 50%. Well, apart from Lee, but he was playing on board 1. It was only by half a point. Really strong player. Congratulations to them. But of course, this is a new season now, and with new season comes different team members, different clubs as well. And actually, rather than just the 5 or so teams, you can see now that Division 1 is actually on 7 teams. It's still extremely early in the season. So I play for All Sager, and we have been quite fortunate to win both of our games that we've played so far. You've got Macclesfield, who we played against and beat them. They've won 1 game, lost 1. Holmes Chapel A won a game so far. Crew C and Crew B and Crew A are all in this as well. And we'll have a look at the individual results between those 3 teams in a second. And then we've also got a new team, which is Northwich. which have come in to the club. So just have a quick look at the fixtures so you can see what's happened here so far. We've literally only 5 games have been recorded into the season. So we beat Macclesfield 3-1 in the first game. That was back in 18th of September. And then Macclesfield beat Crewe A, which was a little bit of a surprise. If I maybe just click on that, a bit of an upset there. But actually, you look at the ratings, and Chris Riley played a really good game against me, by the way. It was unfortunate to go down in that one. But yeah, he was higher rated than Bartosz Fajfer, so I guess it's not really an upset. But then they do start to tail off down to like the 1700 range, and they lost board 3. Philip lost to Martin Burns. Martin's so strong on those lower boards. And I guess the surprise result would be Colin Gibson beating Harry Gardner. Harry's off the back of only recently beating Keith Arkle, so he's a potentially very, very strong player, capable of beating anybody on his day. Just maybe needs a bit of consistency there, but that's really where the damage was done. And then Joachim drew with Jamie Roberts, young player from Crewe, who's 18-25 already, going to be a very strong player in the next few years. So 2.5, 1.5 to Macclesfield, bit of an upset already there. And then we've also got another upset. These Crewe teams, they're fair play to Crewe. They do seem to have spread their strength across the few teams. And here you've got Crewe B losing to Crewe C, which is highly amusing. With the key result being Oscar Jasinski, again another Crewe junior up and coming, similar to Jamie Roberts in the previous team. He's going to be a very strong player in the next few years. Try and get his rating above 2,000 is going to be the next kind of big thing for him. Taking down Lucas Michalik on the bottom board, with the other 3 games being a draw. Welcome back to Amy Lover as well, who I don't think I've met Amy before, but I know she played beforehand. Wasn't there last season though. And therefore, look forward to seeing this team actually in full action. Because Crewe B, the winners of the league last season, have already dropped some points. And then we had a bit of a trip away to Northwich. We did win 4-0, but I'm telling you, these games were not easy at all. Look at those bottom 2 boards, all 4 players rated in the 1700s. They were all really close games. I know that Allen's was the last game to go on against Sameds. Apologies if I've not pronounced that correctly. They were just trying to. There's a little thing here about missing from team list. That's because we didn't quite know what the names were. But actually, they actually played really well. Even in the final position, myself against James, if you'd have played something different than just the move before, it actually has the evaluation as equal. More from my own bad play rather than anything. But yeah, really, obviously quite far to go, Northwich, but first time I've car shared with some of the All Sager group, but still quite interesting. And then I didn't know about this result. But Holmes Chapel A have beaten Crewe B, and oh wow, so it looks like Holmes Chapel have managed to convince Stuart Clark to start turning out. That is a big news, because he's rated 22-23. He is absolutely huge. They've convinced him to turn out, and fair play to Carmel, she's taken him down. So maybe he's rusty, I don't know what, but he very strong player. FIDE rated wise, very strong as well. He's definitely going to be one. If he turns out regularly, then it'll be very tempting. Really good for me to play against him as well. But he's gone down to Carmel there, who got the only point for the Crewe B team, as the other 3 lost. And Holmes Chapel now, if they can get Stuart Clark out on a regular basis, look at that squad with 1900s all the way down. They can be an extremely dangerous team. So this is really shaking up the division. We think about the clubs here. Macclesfield starting to take points off. The Crewe teams can take points off each other. Holmes Chapel A bringing out Stuart Clark. That's going to make them really strong when he plays them. They're strong anyway with 1900s all the way down. And of course ourselves as well. Currently at the top, but I know that it's very early on in the season. Lots of time to go. If we're putting 2 1700s on boards 3 and 4, and Holmes Chapel have got 2 1900s. Then we're going to be up against it. So it's going to be a really difficult grind. I do feel for Northwich that they lost the first one 4-0, but I actually can see that they're definitely going to take points off some teams this season. They're going to be really dangerous to play against. But okay, this is not just about Division 1 though, is it? We've also got lots of teams across the league. So if I click on league tables here, does this give me all the league tables? I hope it does. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay, so great. Okay, so we can see here that we've got Crewe D leading Division 2, but won one, drawn one. Cheddleton A making their first appearance, formerly a Division 1 side. Just lost a few players and not able to compete at the very top at the moment. Our All-Sage B team there, Stafford, another couple of Crew teams, and also Newcastle as well. So, historically, Newcastle, Stafford, and Cheddleton, back in the day, would all enter teams into Division 1. They had the players to compete at that level, but obviously at this point just lost a few players and having to go into Division 2 to compete, and hopefully they get more players joining their clubs and get back to the top again. Okay, as we go further down, some of the extra teams we haven't mentioned, we see there Division 3, we see Kidsgrove A coming in, Gables A as well, and obviously some of the other lower teams of the clubs we've already mentioned there. Good to see them appearing. Further on down, Division 4, we see the first time that we see Fenton having a team, and Crewe goes down to Crewe I, which is crazy. Going to the top of the league above Crewe J. I mean, this is just crazy. But good to see that Cheddleton has still got plenty of players. They're going down to Cheddleton C there. You can see that All-Sage E are playing in this division. It wasn't so long ago. We're talking probably 5 years ago. All-Sage would just be one team in Division 4. And it looks like we've got Division 5 here. Crew keep going. Crew K, Crew L. This is just loads of players in Crew. Okay, Mere make their first appearance here as well. Shout out to them. And then you get some of the South Cheshire Shield didn't happen. So yeah, quite interesting to see the clubs and where we're kind of located and everything. The one thing that I would make a quick comment on, which is maybe something you can comment on in below the video, what your thoughts are on this Division 1 team wise. This is the North Staffs League, aka the Stoke League, and with me mentioning before that Cheddleton, Newcastle, Stafford used to play in Division 1 quite regularly, but now they're not there. And actually we look at all of these teams, okay, there's only technically 5 clubs represented because Crewe have got 3 teams in it, but we're all technically in Cheshire. All-Sage is kind of probably the closest, just over the border. In historical chess terms, All-Sage is actually classed as Staffordshire in the boundaries. I know this from my junior secretary post for Staffordshire. So All-Sage is technically classed as Staffordshire in that case, but really all of these are in Cheshire. And of course, with Northwich joining, it's actually brought us more to the west there, and obviously the centre of the Division 1 league is very far into Cheshire, and it kind of things. I remember when I was growing up around here. We're talking, how old am I now? So it would be like 30 years ago. There was actually an entire league around Crewe, and clubs. Okay, the Crewe clubs brought in so many players, but there would have been several clubs within Crewe, I should imagine, and then around at the side. So I played for a Broughton Arms team, which is from Road Heath. And then there was, I can't really remember the other teams, I was too young. But there was a whole league there, which is basically filtering into the Crewe club, which is why it's so big. Okay, expertly run as well, by the way. I know that they put a lot of effort into it, organising internal competitions, organising all the teams, and have a really nice venue as well. Really pleasant venue to play. They recently hosted a junior tournament as well, so they're doing a lot for chess in the area. Host their own weekend tournament as well, which is brilliant because it's close for me to get to. But yeah, really interesting discussion there that actually all of these teams are in Cheshire, and it's actually the North Staffs League, the Stoke League, and it's a bit of a shame really to see that maybe players from Staffordshire just aren't maybe as good. We just happen to have commonplace that we've just lost them. But I do know that there's players over there that aren't necessarily playing. So, for example, Jacob Boswell used to play for Cheddleton. He still plays for them in the National League. Obviously hasn't got a team for this season. Could he be tempted back by somebody if they were to put a team up? I don't know. You'll have to speak with him. I know that he does commute and full-time work, so therefore it's not always easy. You've got players like Gerald Acey, used to play for Stafford and then Fenton. Don't think he plays anymore. Really strong player. Alex Richardson. I know that Alex is still involved in helping out at Kew University, which would be great to see them into the team, by the way. He's a really strong player. All 3 of those players I just mentioned, they're very capable of getting results against me. And I'd be they could play board one for any team. But there's three players there straight off the bat, and I think there's another guy from Cheddleton. Sorry, apologies, I don't know his name. I played a couple of years ago, who would also be really strong. So it's kind of like something where I think that if maybe somebody from Newcastle or Cheddleton, somebody wanted to try and put together a team, I think there are players there, but you just have to convince them to come and play for you, in order to drag the league back into Staffordshire, back into North Staffordshire for us. Okay, well, I'm just going to show you a very quick end position that we had from the Division 1 match, where it was from. I'm going to show you the match. It was actually this match here, where it was I beat Chris Riley on board 1 and Julian beat John Paul Taylor on board 3, but the other two games were a draw. So we're going to have a look at the game between John Booth and Colin Gibson just very quickly. And I got this position back from memory because I was sat next to it, and this is actually what it looked like. It was quite. John Booth was playing white here, and Colin Gibson was playing black in this position. And I just thought it was really interesting that you've got this kind of different dynamic where you've got this queen and knight, and also maybe the pawn kind of around this black king. And then opposite that, you've got this different material imbalance where you've got this rook and this rook. So you've got the two rooks, but you've also got a pawn only 2 squares away from queening. So white has to basically either give perpetual check in some way, or perpetual threats. Therefore, the black king has to keep defending, or this pawn will queen. Or how can white actually win this position? And you just look at it and you think, look at all of these dart squares, these weak dart squares, these weak points actually as well, around the black king. Surely there must be a way for white to break through here. I was looking at it just as my game was finishing as well. I'm thinking, do you know what? I can't actually see an exact way through to go for. You can give loads of checks. I think John had a choice of where to get his knight to, and he chose to bring it to d7. I think earlier on it could have at some point gone to g5. Not that would have been significantly better. I think it was defensible, but he chose to go to the d7 route to, I guess, get access to this square. I guess from g5 it would have attacked this, but also attacked this as well. But if you think about it, if this black rook was actually over on f8 and the king was on g8, there's still actually no way through there. And it was, it's really difficult to actually break through. I think what white could have tried to do is maybe at some point trying to do like a Nigel Short kind of king walk to try and give checkmate. But the danger with this is if you start bringing the king up, then the rooks would be able to check from the side. I think this rook was back on the second rank at some point, so it could take this pawn. Or maybe even if it gets to h6, it would be able to come across and give a check on the h file, or this way as well. So it was really interesting kind of dynamic on the position, and I'd love to have the score sheet for the full game to put it in, because it was it was much more interesting than my game, let's put it that way. But the only way that I could see, I think a draw was agreed in a position similar to this, and the point was that after check, king here, and then queen here to h4, the threat for white is now knight f6 check, and when the king moves, we then go queen h7 check, defended by the knight. If the king is forced out this way and we give another check, the king comes up here and then we can take the rook on the back rank. But the problem is here at this point, black just simply plays king back to g7. And now if we follow up with knight f6, we can then go rook h8, attacking the queen, and there is no way that we can checkmate that black king. And John and his opponent, I think, both saw this and thought, you know what, I can't see a checkmate. That must be it. I did manage to look a little bit further at the time and thought, well, hang on a minute. Do we need to checkmate the black king? And actually here, after knight f6, rook h8, you could actually try. You could try queen a4 if you wanted to keep the game going. And all of a sudden we switch, because we forced this rook to h8, we're now going to try and just mop up this pawn and this pawn. And if we are able to mop up those two pawns, we can then come back over the other side and focus on trying to somehow checkmate this black king. I think it's extremely risky. I'm not even saying that I would do this, but I guess if I was playing in a league match and I was higher rated than my opponent, then this is definitely something I would play. If I was happy with a draw, then I'd probably take the draw. But But this would have just led to just this fascinating endgame. I just put the computer on here just to see what it says. And it says white is slightly better. But then you look at the continuation, it's like rook e3, king f4, and I'm like, what on earth is actually going on here? I mean, king f4, like, there's a rook check that can obviously be blocked, but it's like, this is just so risky. So when your time's down, and they would have been very low on time at this point, to start looking at variations like this, because what black's trying to do here is, if we start trying to take these two off, if black gets to take the e5 pawn off, then we've lost our outpost of our knight on f6, and if the knight can't sit there, it's going to have to come further away, and we're not going to get any tactics on the black king from further away. We need the knight to be cemented in the enemy position. So yeah, I don't mind him taking the draw. I think it was probably the right thing to do. I just thought it was interesting that you could have continued the game, and I'm not even sure if to trust this computer evaluation here. It looks very dubious to me. Apparently white's slightly better here, but I think it's going to be really hard to play this. I mean, b5 is not a move that you'd naturally come to either. So this is just quite a funny position, and I just thought I'd share that with you because I quite liked it. But anyway, yeah, going back to the North Staffordshire League, really pleased that it's back. Obviously, we've got the league table here for Division 1, all the way down to Division 5, which is fantastic to see 5 divisions. Would like to see more North Staffordshire teams in Division 1. Maybe that's something we can think about. There's even, I have heard whispers of Crewe thinking about, not Crewe themselves, but people going, just generally, is there, should there even be a Crewe league that pops up? A completely fresh league that gets reinstated after many, many years. That would be an interesting thing to do. Just on the final point, I am the Staffordshire Secretary for Junior Chess, so we do have the Staffordshire Junior Chess Championships coming up. That is on November the 22nd in a place called Paisley Catholic College in Cheadle. Make sure you get the right Cheadle. ST101LH. It's only £15 to enter. The juniors from all the way from under 8 all the way up to under 18. Any team that plays in the North Staffordshire League, Cannock League or Wolverhampton League can enter. Juniors, well, obviously the parents or the juniors themselves can enter into it. They just go to staffjuniorchess.co.uk enter this website, and then you can read all the details about it. And then you will able to enter here, just name, school, ECF membership number, and then contact details, and then I'll reply at some point with please pay us to the Staffordshire Junior Bank account details when I see the email come through, which might be sometimes 2 to 3 days depending how busy I am. So yeah, apart from that, great to be back, great to be doing more about chess. Thanks very much for watching. Give it a like and a follow if you want to help me out. It encourages me to do more of these videos. But apart from that, thanks very much for watching. See you next time.